District is an upland area in England at the southern end of the Pennines. It is mostly in northern Derbyshire, but includes parts of Cheshire, Greater Manchester, Staffordshire, West Yorkshire, and South Yorkshire. An area of diversity, it is usually split into the Dark Peak, where most moorland is found, and the Geology is gritstone, and the White Peak, a limestone area, known for valleys and gorges that cut through the limestone plateau. The Dark Peak forms an arc on the north, east and west sides. The White Peak makes up the central and southern tracts. It became the United Kingdom's first national park in 1951. Proximity to Manchester, Stoke-on-Trent, Derby and Sheffield brings millions of urban visitors every year. It is thought that 20 million people live within an hour's journey. Most of the area is over 1,000 feet, 300 meters, above sea level, in the center of the country at a latitude of 53 degrees north, bringing relatively high annual rainfall averaging 40.35 inches, 1,025 millimeters, in 1999. The Dark Peak tends to receive more rainfall than the White Peak, as it is higher. The higher rainfall does not affect the temperature, which averages the same as the rest of England and Wales at 10.3 degrees Celsius, 50.5 degrees Fahrenheit. The Peak District is formed almost wholly of sedimentary rocks of the Carboniferous period. They make up the Carboniferous limestone overlying gritstone, and the coal measures that occur only on the margins and in frequent outcrops of igneous rocks, including lavas, tuffs and volcanic vent agglomerates. The general geological structure is that of a broad dome, whose western margins have been intensely faulted and folded. Uplift and erosion have sliced the top off the Derbyshire dome to reveal a concentric outcrop pattern with coal-measured rocks on the eastern and western margins, Carboniferous limestone at the core and rocks of millstone grit between them. The southern edge of the Derbyshire dome is overlain by sandstones of Triassic age, though they barely impinge on the national park. The White Peak forms a central and southern section with Carboniferous limestone found at or near the surface. The Dark Peak to the north, east and west is marked by millstone grit outcrops and broad swathes of moorland. White Peak habitats include calcareous grassland, ash woodlands and rock outcrops for lime-loving species. They include early purple orchid, Orchis mascula, dark red helleborine, Epipactis atrorubans, and fly orchid, Ophrys insectivora, common rock rose, Helianthemum nummularium, spring cinquefoil, Helianthemum nummularium, and grass of Parnassus, Parnassia palustris. Lead rakes, the spoil heaps of ancient mining activity, form another distinctive White Peak habitat, supporting a range of rare metallophyte plants, including spring sandwort, Menasha verna, also known as leadwort, alpine pennycress, Flaspi cerilicens, and mountain pansy, Viola lutea. Most Peak District mammals are generalists and widespread across the UK, but the mountain hare on heather moorland in the Dark Peak form the only wild population in England. They were reintroduced in the Victorian era for sporting purposes. A feral population of red-necked wallabies lived around the roaches from the 1940s onwards, but may now be extinct. Red deer herds, assumed to be derived from animals escaped from deer parks at Lyme Park and Chatsworth, are established in the upper reaches of the Goyt Valley and on the moors above Baslow, and a herd on Warncliffe Crags outside the National Park north of Sheffield may derive from hunting stock of Warncliffe Chase. As with mammals, many peak bird species are widespread generalists. The Dark Peak moors still support breeding populations of several upland specialists, such as twite, short-eared owl, golden plover, dunlin, ring ouzel, northern wheatear and merlin. Tourism is thought to provide 500 full-time, 350 part-time and 100 seasonal jobs. It is a major source of employment for park residents, 24%, manufacturing, 19%, quarrying, 12%, and agriculture, 12%, are also important. An extensive network of public footpaths and long-distance trails of over 1,800 miles, 2,900 kilometers, in total and large open access areas are available for hill walking and hiking. The Pennine Way traverses the Dark Peak from Edale to the park's northern boundary just south of Standedge. Bridleways are used by mountain bikers, as well as horse riders. The Tissington Trail and High Peak Trail, which reuse former railway lines, are well used by walkers, horse riders and cyclists. The Peak District Boundary Walk is a circular 190-mile, 310 kilometers, walking trail around the national park. Several old rail routes were converted into multi-purpose cycle trails. After the Woodhead line closed between Hadfield and Penistone, some of the trackbed was used for the Longdendale Trail section of the Trans-Pennine Trail between Hadfield and Woodhead. The Manchester, Buxton, Matlock and Midlands Junction Railway between Roseley and Buxton contributed to the Monsell Trail. The trackbed of the Cromford and High Peak Railway is open as the High Peak Trail. The Tissington Trail uses another disused rail line between Buxton and Ashbourne, while the Manifold Way follows the old line of the Leek and Manifold Valley Light Railway between Waterhouses and Hewland. The Peak District is accessible by public transport. Train services run along the Hope Valley line between Sheffield and Manchester, the Derwent Valley line between Derby and Matlock, the Buxton and Glossop lines, linking them to Manchester, and the Huddersfield line from Manchester to Huddersfield. Coach services provide access to Matlock, Bakewell and Buxton from Derby, Nottingham and Manchester through Transpeak and National Express, and there are regular buses from Sheffield, Glossop, Stoke, Leek, and Chesterfield. The nearest airports are Manchester, Doncaster, Sheffield, and East Midlands.